Ladies and gentlemen, hi, it's David, and I'm coming to you today to talk to you about payment shock. This is happening to everybody. When you go get your grocery bill, you're like, what on earth is happening here? And same as when you get gas, same as when you get everything else. That's what we're going to be talking about. But first of all, Max Verstappen won again today in Monza. Pretty happy, wearing a Red Bull sweater. Let's get into the article of the day. All right, guys, if we jump on and take a look at this article, Canada, payment shock is looming as debt and interest rates climb. Now, this is not really a shock to you. You've seen all of this before. Canada's payment shock looms as debt and interest rates climb. You can go look up that article on BayToday.ca. You can go check that out. So as we go through this, of course, we know everything's getting more and more expensive. There's this one gentleman here who is a licensed insolvency trustee and vice president of a company that deals with bankruptcies and so forth. And he's talking about we've already started to see the signs now. Some people are already having trouble servicing debt, and it could get worse. So this article is important. Yes, we're going to look at a whole bunch of numbers, but more importantly, I talk to a lot of people every single day, 7 days a week. And these people are telling me how they're getting crunched over and over and over again, and they can't afford it, especially when you're in a single family household. Maybe you only have one kid, and you have no partner or something like that, or you have high expenses. Daycare has gone up, fuel has gone up, and we're not just talking up going up 10%, they're up 20%. Fuel's way up, food is way up. Everything is way up, but your salary stays the same. So this is just crushing people. At the same time, inflation is going up, interest rates are going up, and the big hit comes when your mortgage payment comes out. The average mortgage payment now is $1,100 more. So this is really, really, really going to impact people. If we go back to the article, then again, it's on BayToday.ca. You can check it out. It says the risk of payment shock is front and center as people are grappling with the confluence of high inflation and high interest rates. Everything is more expensive. Buying groceries, heating your home, the basics, and now servicing your debt will cost you a lot more. And then it gives an example. For example, $100,000 home equity line of credit with roughly 3.5% floating rate would have cost you $250 before. Now that monthly payment is $500. But you remember, like, these rates are, it's not just $100,000. A lot of people in Toronto and Vancouver are owing over $1 million. So if that happens, imagine your payments are going to be $5,000. It's a lot. Okay. And Equifax. So Equifax and TransUnion are the big two in Canada. Please pay attention to what they're saying. In fact, Equifax said that the total consumer debt climbed 8.2% in the second quarter. I don't know if you guys know, 8.2% you just might not hear. It is massive. Okay. In addition, it says credit card spending has reached historically high levels. TransUnion is stating that the debt grew to an all-time high of $2.24 trillion, which is up 9.2%. Okay, so we now have both of the major credit reporting places saying it's up 8 and 9% in the quarter. And credit card usage is at an all-time high. And when we check the charts, Canadian savings are at an all-time low. What do you think people are spending it on? So it's not really a question of, is the money being spent? People are spending the money left, right, and center, okay? All over the place. So then you have to ask yourself, what are they spending it on? Where is the money going? You and I know the answer, right? It's to make payments and just to make ends meet because everything is so more expensive. But it's not that you're seeing when you go to a Canadian Tire, when you're going to a Bed Bath & Beyond, when you're going to Home Depot, there is so much inventory that there's piles of it. We've done videos before on the bullwhip effect. You can check it out right here. I'm going to link that video for the bullwhip effect. It's really important that you check out what Michael Burry is talking about that, but there's so much inventory. Obviously, people aren't buying stuff. They're not buying stuff at the store. They're not buying homes anymore. They're not buying cars anymore. They're making ends meet. So this is not going to end well. This is going to end very, very poorly, and it's terrible. It's absolutely awful because we're not talking about a couple people. We did an article just yesterday where it was talking, you can check this one out on TransUnion. That one was mentioning 9.4 million people, I believe, are on risk of going over. And that might be a light number. So we've never seen anything like this before where there's millions. Maybe, even 2007, 8, 9, there wasn't as much as they're claiming right now, and it could be higher. So you don't know the exact day when it's going to happen. Now, a lot of people ask me that, David, when is the day? Listen, I'm not an oracle, don't have a crystal ball, but I do know for sure that if people are spending double the amount that they make in income, they're going to run out of money and going to run out of credit cards. And it's not going to end well. I also know I've known people before that have a beautiful house and big car and all this stuff, and it looks like they have everything under control. But guess what? In that one day that they miss all their payments, their home is foreclosed on, the car is impounded, and everything's gone. Poof, like smoke and mirrors, man. So this is where we got to make sure that we're paying attention to what is happening out there, know what's going to happen, and adjust your risk profile and your portfolios accordingly. The easiest thing that you can do right now, the easiest thing you can do is go out and buy stuff. What do I mean by stuff? Buy the stuff you need. Buy cosmetics and soaps and food and canned goods. They last some 2, 3, 4, 5 years. And you can buy food and buy stuff in advance. Listen, if I gave you an opportunity to go back 2 years in time before the health crisis and then buy up as much food and stuff that you would need, you would go back in that time machine in a second because you would save a lot of money than what the prices are today. Listen, the prices are not up at where they are right now at a peak and going to drop back down to 2019. Keep dreaming. That's not going to happen. The prices are going to be continuing up, 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 up. The prices you see today on all your stuff is probably the best prices you're going to get. We are heading into a time where the economy is tanking and inflation is going to be going up at the same time. So you're getting hit from two sides at the same time with inflation and a disaster of an economy. Imagine now, the last survey I saw, 52% of companies and businesses are planning to lay people off or already have. Those people haven't all lost their jobs yet. But when you see that tsunami of jobs that are missing in the market, it's going to be too late. So that's why I think everybody, don't go crazy. I'm not saying go and rent a U-Haul truck and fill it up with socks from from Costco. I'm saying start building your supplies, And so what I always say is just try to buy a couple cans every single time that you go to the store and stock up on that stuff, because I think there's going to be some really hard times coming. Of course, there's always going to be these people all over the internet that are going to tell you now is the best time to buy a car, best time to buy a house, best time to buy everything, right? Now is always the best time to any salesman. I'm putting my neck out there, and I don't think that there's any way that is possible. So when people challenge me and say, well, I think it's going to go great, I'm like, great. Can you show me one indicator, just one, that shows that we are heading on the right path, that is going good? And everyone can't point to anything. But the number one answer is, well, I hope it'll sort itself out. When a bear is running at you, okay, it doesn't just sort itself out. You're going to get chomped by that bear. So you have to do something about it. And I call it hopium, that drug that everyone is sniffing, that hopium. Hope doesn't solve the problems, and you got to solve the problems, right? And there's ways for us to do it. For just as little as $1, you can go buy a can of food and put that in your cupboard, and it's good for many years. Or you can go buy a big bag of rice or something. If you want to be a little bit more advanced than that, you can start buying something as little as $30 and start buying some silver. This is money. This is currency. We got to know what the difference between those two things are. Anyway, as you know, I want to get the word out there. I want to help more people. So if you know anybody that this could help, just send it to one person. It would really mean a lot. We're trying to get the word out there. Please remember to like, subscribe, and follow to this, and I'll check you out later.